Well, hello, everybody. It's me, Amanda, with Once in a Wild once again, and we're getting ready for our 3:30 program right here, right now on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram as well. Hello to everybody, no matter what your platform is. We are here for you, and it is 3:30, so let's go ahead and begin. Welcome to the Monday program. As always, our shows are free of charge. We really, really love bringing the animals to you guys in this manner because it's really our best way of bringing the zoo to you right now, even though it's virtual. It is free, but we do, of course, accept tips and donations to our cause, as always, and they are very much appreciated. Our information is found down below if you're on Facebook or YouTube, and it's also in the bio description if you're on Instagram. So you can find us via Venmo at Once in a While. That's how we accept donations that way. And we can also accept donations via Amazon wishlist, which there are links on onceinawild.com. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can click donate to our cause. There's a great big box, can't miss it. And also on the link tree for Instagram, there is a link for all of that as well. So it's really, really easy. And if you need any help finding any of those things, please send us a message or send me a text. My phone number is also down below. We're also offering Zoom room animal encounters at this time. They're great for classrooms. They're great for parties. They're great for anything that you want to supplement animals, your party with animals or your event with animals. We can bring them to you virtually, and you can customize your Zoom room animal encounter. Please call or text or message us for more detail. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. Hooray! So good to see everybody. Let's make sure everybody's chiming in. Hi, Donna. Welcome once again. Thanks for your support as always. We hope to see lots of questions, lots of comments, lots of support from our friends, family, and followers as usual. And please chime in with any of your questions that you may have for me. You can even try to stump me with animal questions. They don't have to be limited to the animals that we're meeting today. In fact, I welcome any questions about any animals because I do have a lot of experience working with tons and tons of animals. In fact, I am thinking about doing on one of my live streams, doing a talk maybe about a little bit about me and what other animals I've worked with and some of my past experiences. Maybe you guys would be interested in that. I'll still bring some live animals to the show as always, but I thought maybe I'd share with you some old photos and maybe some old videos of me working at past jobs. I thought that might be fun to talk about. So if you guys have any questions about anything or suggestions for the program, please feel free to chime on in with your comments, your questions, anything for me. I'm an open book. Please ask me anything that you would like and comment with anything that you'd like. Hello, Brenda. Hello, Donna. Hello, Christian. And yes, it was a beautiful intro, wasn't it? Very, very good. Thank you, Donna, for tagging all of your friends. Hello, everybody on Instagram as well. Let's go ahead and begin with our first animal, shall we? Are you guys excited? Hope you're excited. So this is someone that we've met before, but we're going to meet again. And I thought I'd bring him again because he is so popular and so beautiful. And please give me a moment while I get him situated here on my hand. Look who we have today. Who do we have? Oh my goodness. This is Freddy, and he is a Panther Chameleon. Isn't he cool? Let's see if we can get him in focus on our new camera here. We are using a different camera than we usually use. As of last week, we started, or last program, we started using a different camera. I think it looks really, really good. So this is Freddy. He's named after Freddie Mercury because we are big music fans around here. And who doesn't like Queen anyway? He's full of colors. So right now, haha, there we are on Instagram. So right now, he is mostly orange, but he can be literally any color of the rainbow. This is a blue bar ambulomi Panther Chameleon. This species is found in Madagascar. A lot of chameleons are found in Madagascar. Some chameleons are found in other places too. It's not just Madagascar, but lots and lots of chameleons are found there. He is a Panther Chameleon. I believe they call him a Panther Chameleon because they move in like kind of a cat-like movement. They don't really look anything like a panther to me, but that is their name, Panther Chameleon. There are many types of Panther Chameleon. There are different localities of them depending on where they live in Madagascar. And again, this is the blue bar ambulomi Panther Chameleon. He's looking at me right now. Probably just focused on what I'm doing instead of what you guys are doing. There we go. You can see he's puffing up a little bit. That is to show kind of that he's a little bit bigger. he might be looking around at some of these lights and cameras and computers and things and wondering what's going on. So he's just puffing up to kind of stay safe. These guys are predators of insects, but they are also prey of other animals, right? So he might be just trying to stay safe. And Freddy also has a bit of an attitude. He's not really a super friendly animal. He's fine for handling on occasion, but I wouldn't call him friendly. No. So he's a little bit of a diva, and that's okay. We just let him be himself, right? Make sure we're in focus here. Maybe if I scoot up a little bit. We're still learning all the new technicalities of our new camera. I just want to make sure we're in focus for the video. Now, chameleons are also very, very visual animals. They don't have any external ears, to my knowledge. I see no ears there. That's what I've always been told. I was told they can hear a little bit, but they have really bad hearing, as far as we know. And they don't smell very well either. They do have a sense of smell, but it's very, very, very slight, as far as we know. We're always studying these animals and learning new things, but as far as we know, they don't really use their sense of smell too much to like hunt or anything like that. And what they're going to use though, and like I said, no hearing really to speak of, a little bit of hearing, but not much. No external ears, so he doesn't have great ears either. So not a great sense of smell and not a great sense of hearing, but he does have amazing eyesight. So he's always looking around trying to figure out what's going on. Imagine being such a visual animal that, you know, your sense of sight is going to be your main sense. And he has amazing eyes. So he has color vision. That is partially why they are the different colors that they are, is to communicate with other chameleons. So their colors change, of course, right? We all know that chameleons change colors. Right now, he's changing colors right before your eyes. He was very, very orange, but he's turning a little bit more blue. And he can actually be two different colors on each side, depending on his mood. So think of a chameleon like a lizard mood ring. So what they're going to do is change their color based on their mood. They also do it to communicate with other chameleons and other animals. Right now, he's probably telling me that he's a little bit nervous. He's saying, I don't know what's going on in the studio. I'm not familiar with these surroundings very much, so I'm going to be a little bit nervous. But some of those colors mean different things. The darker a lizard is in general, the more, that might be the more stressed, or that might be the more, he might be feeling cold. So if you think about it, if you're darker, you're going to absorb more sun. So you might get warmer that way, right? That might be one reason. But for chameleons, they kind of take it to the extreme, especially these panther chameleons. These guys can change a whole lot of different colors. And the ambelomi panther chameleon can change almost every color of the rainbow, like I said. So he can be like a full spectrum of the whole rainbow, and probably other colors that we can't even see, because they have amazing color vision that surpasses ours. They're insane when it comes to seeing colors and it comes to seeing anything. They have amazing vision. So the colors change based on their mood, for communication, sometimes temperature change, but it's not really to like blend in with the background like we used to think. So humans used to see chameleons and think, oh, it's all for camouflage. Well, some of it's for camouflage. Like you can see he has kind of a natural, he's puffing up, he's mad at my finger. Don't be mad at my finger, buddy, it's okay. Oh, he's getting very mad. I won't go any closer. But he has like kind of a natural pattern that might blend into shadows and the trees and things like that out in his natural environment. See him over there on Instagram. But other than that, he's not really going to blend in much other than the natural shadows and things. And he might blend in some from like a distance to help him stay safe from predators and things like maybe birds and other predators like that. But he mostly uses his coloration to communicate with other chameleons, to express stress or express something like that, all kinds of things, and to show us what kind of like temperature he is. So if he, like I said, he's feeling really, really warm, he's going to be lighter to reflect sun and not get too hot. Because remember, chameleons, as all lizards are ectotherms. That means they don't have their own body temperature, so they have to regulate their own body temperature, not like us. Like we still have to regulate our body temperature a little bit, but we're always the same body temperature unless we're sick or something like that. So the chameleon and other lizards, they are ectotherms, which means that they don't have their own body temperature. So whatever temperature is around him is what he's going to be if he hangs out in that area long enough. So if he needs to warm up, he's going to go into the sun. And a little bit more handy when you're a chameleon or lizard that change colors is if you are too hot, you can lighten your colors. And if you are too cold, you can darken your colors to help absorb light. Isn't that amazing? So right now, like I said, he's kind of orange. We'll see if he'll change color as we're talking about him. But when he's kind of just like hanging out and doing his normal thing in his enclosure, just relaxing, he's going to be almost every color of the rainbow. And he changes all the time. He changes whether he's relaxed or whether he's sleeping or whether he's a little bit upset. Just depends. And one way that chameleons will communicate with other chameleons, because these guys are solitary, but they do defend their territory. They do look for females, things like that. They might be really, really bright colored to show off for the ladies and look really handsome to find a mate. And they might be really bright colored in a different way to ward off other rival males that come into their territory. These guys are jungle animals. They are rainforest animals for the most part. Maybe a little bit of drier forest sometimes, but they need a lot of rainfall to survive. These guys don't drink out of, they're arboreal, so they're up in the trees. So they don't like drink out of a pool or a pond or anything like that. They're going to drink the water that falls off the leaves. So they rely on a lot of rainfall to stay hydrated. That comes in really, really important when you have them in the care of humans too. They need to be misted every single day, twice or 3 times a day. And they need some kind of water source that can fall onto leaves or even a drip system, something like that, where they can drink water, because that's how they drink and how they stay hydrated. It's very important for them to do that. And like I said, these guys are arboreal, but they'll kind of have their own space away from other chameleons until it's time for breeding, or if they see another rival male. If they see another rival male, he might be seeing himself in the reflection there. He's like, whoa, another male. He never sees another chameleon ever, hardly ever, except for himself. He might change bright colors to look really, really manly and really, really scary to that other rival male. And when he sees a lady, he's going to show off those beautiful colors too, just like some other animals like the peacock or something like that would show off for the ladies. And you guys can probably see he's really, really good at climbing. He's hanging onto my fingers just like this, as if I were a tree. And he's even got a prehensile tail. If he'll let me kind of mess with him a little bit, you might be able to see how he uses his prehensile tail. He can literally hold his entire body up and right himself that way if he wants to. And I'm going to help him here in a little bit. But he has no problem hanging from his tail, just like a monkey. See that? See how he hangs? He's very, very mad at me. It's okay, buddy. I'm so sorry. I'm just a tree today. Just relax. It's like, what are we even doing today? Cool, huh? But he has that amazing tail. If he doesn't need to use the tail, it curls up. Really handy. Can curl all the way up just like that. All the way up to his body. But he wants to use it right now, so we're going to let him. I'm going to switch hands. So I have I'm right-handed, so I need my right hand. Isn't he beautiful? You can see how he's changing more green. And again, he can be almost every single color of the rainbow. He kind of matches our logo and everything. Let's see what people are wondering on Facebook. If y'all have any questions. Let's scoot back a little bit so you guys can see him and me. A little out of focus. A little out of focus. We want to get this right. There we go. Okay, what questions and comments do we have? Hi, everyone. Hi, Sevi. It's nice to see you watching with Mary. Nice to see you. I really love when kiddos chime in with their parents, because of course your parents are the ones that have like the Facebook account, right? Most little kids don't have their own Facebook account, or Instagram maybe. I don't know if you guys have an Instagram. We're also on YouTube today, by the way. We're doing YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and Instagram Live. Hooray! But it's nice to see everyone. Anja's here. Is Alinka there today, Christian? Christian says it's looking good. I'm really, really glad. And thank you so much for tagging all your friends and sharing our videos and things. Let me know how everything looks and sounds. We always like our feedback. Mary and maybe Sevi are asking, what kind of bugs do they eat? So chameleons are insectivores, and they are obligate carnivores, which means they eat nothing but other animals. And insectivore means they specifically eat insects. So he's going to hunt for a living. And when they hunt, they're going to be kind of hanging out in the trees. And when he's ready to go eat, he's going to be looking around with his amazing eyeballs. And those eyes are independently moving. And they're going to be able to look here and there, wherever direction he wants to look, 360 degrees all the way around his body. But once he spots a bug, those eyes will stop moving independently and move binocularly in front of him, and he will kind of focus in on a bug. And then what a chameleon does that is really special is they use their tongue to go after a prey item, like a bug. So to answer your question, it can be literally any kind of insect. It can be a moth, a fly. It can be a grasshopper, cricket, roach. They can even eat smaller lizards. They can eat tiny little mammals if they catch one, or if they find one. It is really a matter of what fits into their mouth. So for this size chameleon, he's pretty big. You can see how big he is. He's pretty large for a chameleon. They're one of the larger species. They're not the largest by no means. There are some that are about 2 or 3 times his size. But his mouth opens pretty big. So as long as he can fit it into his chomping mouth, he can eat it. But it is only insects, and I said other animals on occasion, but they are known as insectivores, even though they occasionally eat like lizards and small mammals and things on occasion. They would have to be smaller though, but it does happen. In fact, these guys are cannibalistic towards their own young, which sounds harsh, but it is a food item to some animals, to some chameleon. And that's just the way of nature, isn't it? These guys don't take care of their babies. They might even eat their babies if they're hatching out and they're small. And like I said, they're solitary. They don't care about other chameleons unless it's time for breeding. And even about their baby, they just kind of let them fend for themselves. So babies, when they come out, well, this type of chameleon lays eggs. So when they hatch out of their eggs, those babies are ready to go on their own immediately. And those babies will eat smaller bugs and things. Now here at Once in a Wild, Freddy doesn't eat any mammals or lizards. He eats all insects. His favorites are things like superworms. He likes dubia roaches and crickets. Those are his main 3 items that he gets, although he occasionally gets other things too. We try to make a good variety for him to eat. Good question. Everybody's tagging everyone. We love it. Christian asks how do they feel on their skin? So he is in between rough and smooth. He's not, I wish you guys could feel him. He's not super rough and he's not super smooth, but he does have kind of a rough texture. So he's not super smooth like a corn snake or something like that. He's not smooth like a blue-tongued skink or anything like that, but he's not as rough as like a bearded dragon. So he's kind of like has like a little bit of a bumpy texture, but it's very, very his scales are very, very close together and very small. So it's not too super rough, if that makes sense. That's a really good question. Let me see. Everybody's saying hello everyone. And again, chameleons are really special in a lot of ways. Not only do they change colors in a more exaggerated way than most lizards. So almost every kind of lizard, there's a few that don't, but a lot of different kinds of lizards actually do change colors too. Yeah, so they change colors for different reasons, but the chameleon kind of takes it to the extreme, don't they? And not only that, but they have a prehensile tail, like we talked about. Not very many lizards have a prehensile tail. In fact, there's very few of them that do. And his is truly prehensile. You can see how well he uses it like a 5th limb. And that is for his arboreal lifestyle, meaning that he climbs trees. That's where he lives, is in the trees. His toes are also fused in a certain way to be able to climb branches. Can you see how his toes are fused? They look like little mitten hands. He has just as many toes as other lizards. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toes on each foot. And he has little claws as well. But his toes or his feet are kind of like little chip clips. That's what they remind me of. They're like little mittens. They're fused that way. And that's because he has an arboreal or tree-dwelling lifestyle. Please don't fall. I got you, buddy. I'm going to get you by the tail in case you fall. There we go. Aren't they cool? Chameleons are also unique because of the tongue, like we talked about, and because of their eyes. They're independently moving eyes. So those eyes, basically in his brain, he's got 2 hemispheres of the brain. So one eye on the left is going to show one hemisphere of vision, and one eye on the right is going to show the other hemisphere of vision. And when he wants to look binocularly, those hemispheres come together as kind of one picture, and that way he can take a look in the front. So if he wanted to, he could actually swing his eyes all the way forward and look at you guys. But he's looking at me because he's a little nervous. Yeah, me and Freddy have a strange relationship because I've known him almost his entire life. I've had him since he was a tiny baby chameleon, but he still doesn't like me very much. But that is just his personality. He is very sassy. You can see him puffing up his throat there. That is telling me that he wants to be kind of left alone, and he's trying to look bigger. So that's going to be a defense mechanism. It's also going to make him look really big to rival male chameleons. But that's a defense mechanism to a lot of animals. If you think about it, even like a cat will puff up to look really big when they're upset. that is going to show potential predators or enemies that they are too big to eat and they are too big to fight. Now, I'm not going to do either one to him today. I'm going to leave him alone in just a little bit. Just want you guys to see how beautiful he is. He is such a beautiful animal. These guys are not endangered right now, but they are suffering habitat loss in their island home of Madagascar. So out there in the wild, Freddie Mercury was not brought from the wild or anything like that. He was bred in the care of humans and then and not taken out of the wild or anything like that. We highly recommend if you are going to obtain a pet reptile that you make sure, first of all, you should look to adopt because a lot of them get abandoned and they need homes. But also we want to make sure we're coming from, or they are coming from, we know where we come from, right? That they're coming from a reputable place, like a reputable breeder or something like that. So he was specially bred in the care of humans. He's known humans his entire life, but he still doesn't really like people very much. And that's just his personality. And we accept him anyway, don't we? That is okay. But he does very, very little programs and then he gets to go back home immediately, usually. We have any other questions? Little Spock hands. Yes, they live long and prosper, don't they? And Mary, you're welcome. I'm so happy to do this. I really love, as you know, talking to people about animals all day long. I really miss it. And, you know, now that we can't be out and about, I really wanted to do it anyway. So we decided to do our live streams for anybody that wants to watch or who is interested. Now, a lot of chameleons do have horns on their nose. You might have seen a Jackson's chameleon or other chameleons like that, but not all chameleons have horns on their nose, as you can see. He only has a rostral ridge. Let's see if you can see it. His rostral ridge is there on the front of his nose. It is kind of like a bony structure right here. If you know anything about pigs, it's kind of like a pig's rostral bone, but he's not a pig, although he eats like one sometimes. But instead of horns, he's got that rostral ridge. And I don't really know if it has a purpose or if it's just to look really cool. They look kind of like a dinosaur to me. But not all chameleons have horns, and some do and some don't, depending on the species, and it depends on the gender. This type of chameleon, as well as I believe every type of chameleon, to my knowledge, is dimorphic, which means we can tell the difference between male and female very easily. So a female panther chameleon of the same exact type, which is the Ambulomi blue bar Ambulomi panther chameleon, which is what he is. There are other kinds of panther chameleons and other kinds of chameleons, of course. But even the same exact type, if he were female, would look totally different. He would be about half to a third of the size of him, and he would have a lot less color. So the females are a lot less flashy. They're a lot smaller. And sadly, the females actually don't live as long as the males. The females tend to go through their breeding cycle and have eggs and things like that, regardless of having a male or not. They will lay eggs just like a chicken does. But that takes a huge toll on their bodies. They do that a couple of times. I believe it's a couple of times, and then they're done. And then a female will pass away, and usually 3 to 5 years old, maybe a little longer, depending on the genetics, of course, and the individual and the situation and the care and all that and everything and whatnot. And the males will live about 10. So males can live up to twice as long. Yeah, so they're not the super longest lived type of lizard, which is my least favorite thing about them because I think they're wonderful. Chameleons are actually my favorite type of lizard. We have my chameleon earrings on today. And I think that Jackson chameleons are actually my favorite, but panthers are really, really awesome. A lot of people love them. Cool, huh? What else? What else? What else? Hey guys, so sorry about that. I think I had some technical difficulties there. I thought I came back and then I wasn't back, but I think I'm back now. Sorry about that, guys. I do apologize. Freddie Mercury was ready to go back, and I guess my finger scrolled over and then I left, so I didn't mean to at all. So sorry about that. I see that you guys are there. Hi, Penny Patamber. Hello again. Hello again. And Joffrey, that's what I was doing. I was trying to, Jeffrey over here, Jeffrey Robinson says, I had mine for years and he hated me every day. Yes, he does hate me too. Oh, well. Sometimes you get a really friendly Panther Chameleon and sometimes you don't. Sorry if I cut out there. I know on Instagram I still had everybody watching, so that's why we do things in multiple platforms. Okay, guys. Yes, I'm spinning plates. Thank you for understanding. It's a one-man show. It's a one-woman show, isn't it? Well, Freddie Mercury has taken a break, and we're going to meet our next animal. How's that? I hope you guys like her. Okay, we're going to meet our next animal, and you guys are wonderful and patient and awesome. You're a fantastic audience. Okay, our next animal is a little bit smaller and easier to manage. Ooh, look what we have today. If you saw our little preview before the show, you might have seen this animal, and her name is Tiptoes. Oh, she heard my breath. She felt my breath there. I say heard, but she probably felt me. So this one is a Antilles pink-toed tarantula. Their scientific name is Carabina versicolor. It used to be Avicularia versicolor, so forgive me if I had to think for a minute. When I was learning about these guys, they were Avicularia as their first part of their scientific classification. But now they're Carabina versicolor, I believe. They are from the Caribbean. They're from the Caribbean and surrounding areas over there in Central America. They are an arboreal species as well, just like the Panther Chameleon was and is. They are a tarantula. So again, the common name is the Antilles pink-toed tarantula, or versicolor tarantula. The word versicolor just means that they are different colors. When these guys are babies, they are actually blue with a striped pattern on their abdomen. Remember, the abdomen is the second part of the tarantula's two body parts. We have the cephalothorax. Oh, hi. We have the cephalothorax and the abdomen on spiders because they have two body parts instead of three like an insect. But that abdomen, as a baby, their whole body is kind of a metallic blue, and their abdomen is actually striped, almost like a zebra stripe pattern or a tiger stripe. It's really, really pretty. So Amanda's asking, do they ever go to the ground? Yeah, they'll go to the ground sometimes. I don't know if you're asking about the spider or the chameleon, but both of them will go to the ground on occasion. But I would say 90 to 95% of the time they're going to be up in the trees because that's where they feel the most secure and safe. And as you can see, this spider has no problem climbing. A lot of spiders climb, right? But not very many tarantulas climb. There are arboreal tarantulas as well as terrestrial tarantulas. Terrestrial means being on the ground, right? And arboreal means living in the trees. Arboreal is derived from the word arbol. If you guys know Spanish or any Latin languages, that's where that comes from, the word for tree, arboreal. Pink-toed tarantulas are actually my favorite species of tarantula. They're very, very gentle. And they come in different varieties. The Antilles pink-toed tarantula or Carabina versicolor is just one type of pink-toed tarantula. They do have little pink toes. It's kind of hard to see. But you might be able to see when she moves her feet around. Haha. And did you guys know that tarantulas have little claws, almost like kitty cats do? And they are retractable claws as well. So those claws, oh, I keep like startling her with my breath because they're very sensitive to air. Sorry about that, Mama. She is such a good girl, though. Those claws are retractable and they help them to climb. So I can feel her tiny little claws on my skin, but don't worry, it doesn't really hurt. Not anything as bad as a cat claw, for sure. So these guys have very tiny claws, which are very benign to a human, but they're more like, I don't know if you've ever held like a gecko or something like that. They kind of feel like that. Like you can feel it, but it doesn't hurt at all. So their toes are kind of a pink on the tips of them. And some pink-toed tarantulas have more pink on their very, very end of their digits than this type of pink-toed tarantula. So some of them show a little bit more pink on the end there. But this is my favorite kind because they have such beautiful metallic colors. And the camera probably doesn't do any justice to how she really looks in real life. But you guys can see a little bit. And this girl is actually due for a molt soon. So tarantulas molt, once they are mature, they molt about once a year. And she is due for a molt anytime. She's not quite going into molt yet, or I wouldn't have handled her today because it's not good to handle them when they're going through a molt. But she's still fine, and but she's darker than she normally is. That's my point. And when she molts again, she will be amazing, bright colors, and even more amazing looking than she looks now. So every time these guys molt, they grow about twice as large, at least in my experience. These guys grow quite a bit as they molt. They're not the longest lived tarantula. A female, like Tiptoes here, can live to be about 12 or so. A male pink-toed tarantula only lives to be about 3 or 4, unfortunately. The males have a much shorter life expectancy. So kind of the opposite of the chameleon, right? Very interesting how some animals are different than that from each other, life expectancy-wise. But a female, usually when they, like as they molt, they kind of grow at least, you know, maybe a quarter size, if not twice the size. So they will kind of continue to grow until they're done living, just kind of like reptiles do. Reptiles never stop growing either. But as they mature, they slow down. So she won't get enormous or anything like that. These guys are kind of a small to medium tarantula. I know she looks really big on camera, but she's pretty small. You can see how small she is. Beautiful, huh? How are you guys doing? That just joined in. Yes, so the spider, you clarify it, Amanda. Thank you for clarifying. So yeah, they will go down to the ground. They have no problem crawling on the ground, but they're so good at climbing. And these guys are very, very nimble. For defense, they would rather jump away than go attack anybody. As you might imagine, a smaller-ish tarantula like this maybe doesn't have a whole lot of protection for itself. They're not very venomous. They're only toxic to their prey, which are things like very small bugs. So what they'll do with their venom, which they do have venom, but it's very benign to humans and most other animals other than small bugs. So say if she found a cricket that she wanted to eat, she would run really fast after it. These guys are very, very, very nimble. Like I said, they can move very quickly. She is a great eater. It's really fun watching her eat. Maybe I'll feed her on live stream sometime so you guys can see her eat. That'd be fun. I didn't plan that today, but maybe next time. And they will jump after a creature that they have felt. They usually feel their prey moving with their amazingly sensitive hairs that they have all over their body. And they do have vision as well. You can see how she felt me breathing there. They do have pretty good vision as well for a spider. Now, most spiders have terrible vision, save for like jumping spiders and things. I believe those guys have really, really good vision. And I could be totally wrong about most spiders. But when it comes to tarantulas, they don't have very good vision in general. But this type of tarantula has better vision than other tarantulas. They're more visual. They definitely will be very sensitive with their hairs. And they can feel their prey moving and whatnot. And they will run right after it very, very quickly, jump after it. And then what they do is, you guys know that tarantulas have 8 legs because they're spiders, right? But they also have 2 arm-like appendages called pedipalps. So if you're counting right now, you can see she has 1, 2, 3, 4 on one side of legs and 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side. But she's also got 2 extra limbs in the front there, right? They're shorter than her legs. And those are called pedipalps. And pedipalps are kind of like arm-like appendages. So if she were a scorpion, those pedipalps would actually be her claws. That's what a scorpion has. But since she's not a scorpion, she's a spider, she just has little arms. They're shorter than the rest. There, she's showing you really well right now, her little pedipalps in the front. So when they want to grab prey, that's what they're going to use to grab prey, and that is conveniently located near their fangs. Their fangs are underneath their chin like this. They have chelicerae right here. Guys. Guys, we're on a different camera. No. Hold on. We're back. My camera decided to turn off. What is happening today? I promise we'll get it together. Get it together. We're back. So they have chelicerae, which are they're kind of where they store all their venom. That's right in the front of all tarantulas. And then underneath their chin right here, they're going to have their fangs. Their fangs are located here when they're rusting. And then when they want to use them, they'll grab their food with their pedipalps or their arms, right? They'll bring them under here and their fangs come out simultaneously and they can bite their prey. And what they do is they will inject venom with their fangs and then they will liquefy their prey with that venom. That is what the venom is for, is to turn their prey into something that they can drink, because a tarantula cannot really eat hard food items. They have to turn a hard food item into a drinkable item. So they kind of turn their food into a smoothie and then they drink the smoothie. Delicious. So sorry that I lost you guys again. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen again. Things are happening. So we changed cameras and on occasion it turns off on its own unless I hit record. So we're figuring it out, guys. But I appreciate everyone's patience. Does anybody have any other questions about our tarantula? Did you guys know that spiders are very, very important? So tarantulas are just like kind of a larger spider. They're in the spider family, but there's many, many different species of spider all over the place. And most spiders are very, very harmless to humans. And they get a bad reputation because there are a few that are dangerous. And some people find them creepy or scary. But spiders are far more beneficial than they are harmful to humans and all animals, right? Unless you're their food, then you should probably be afraid of them because spiders are predators to some animals. But spiders are very, very harmless to most animals. There are only a few spiders that can actually harm you in a way that would be dangerous. Some might be able to bite you, but you wouldn't pass away or anything like that. You would be okay. It might hurt, but no worse than like a bee sting. And we all know that bees are important, right? And spiders are important too because they're predators. So spiders help in the food chain to lessen the amount of harmful pests like flies, roaches, things like that. Mosquitoes. I know you guys would really appreciate less mosquitoes in your life, right? Well, you should keep spiders around. Spiders are actually very, very beneficial to your backyard. Even the occasional spider in your home is not a bad thing. It is not bad at all. I think their walking is very mesmerizing as well. Hello, Cedric. I love how they walk. It's so mesmerizing to watch. Yes, I love the way that pink-toe tarantulas walk. They're very active tarantulas when you're handling them. They're very easy to handle as well because they stick to you. And these guys are very nimble. Like I said before, if they jump and fall or run around, they're actually not as fragile as a lot of other tarantulas, which I really like because most tarantulas are terrestrial. Whoa, and they're not designed to take a fall. Whereas these guys jump around and, you know, do acrobatics all the time. People used to call these the flying spiders because they can jump so fast. It looks like they're flying. But they're not. They're just jumping really fast. Pardon me while I take a drink. How many types of tarantulas are there? That's a good question, Courtney. Good to see you back on here as well. I believe there's around 800 different types of tarantulas. And of course, even more different type of spiders. Now that was when I last looked it up. I could be wrong. All you entomologists out there, let me know how many types of tarantulas there are. I know that you're out there somewhere. I know a lot of zookeepers and entomologists and herpetologists and all kinds of people. But I believe around 800 different species of tarantulas, more or less. Good question. We have a kitchen spider we live in harmony with. That's really, really good. So most spiders are totally harmless. They're going to help you to rid your house of mosquitoes and flies and things, which is a great thing to have, right? Most animals we can actually live in harmony with. A lot of animals like snakes and spiders and all kinds of things are very misunderstood, right? So here once in a while, that's one of our kind of missions is to teach you guys about animals that you can coexist with. Opossums are another really great one that you can coexist with in your own environment, right? If you live in the United States. Cool, huh? If you guys have any questions at all about any animals, please let me know today. Sevi says, my mom told me you love all reptiles and stuff, and I like all those too. That's really, really good. It's really good to promote the normalcy and the acceptance of weird animals, in my opinion. So just because animals look different than us, whether they have 8 legs and 2 arms, or they have no legs and no hair, like reptiles, right? Or like snakes, I should say. Reptiles don't have hair, but tarantulas have hair, which is kind of funny to me. People like fuzzy animals, but not spiders. I don't understand, but okay. But I think it's because they're different. Animals that are different a lot of times are misunderstood because they're not the same as us. But that's not okay, right? We shouldn't judge people or animals for being different than us. We need to give them a chance. Get to know them and maybe you'll change your mind, right? And that's part of our job here once in a while. We always want to change people's minds about animals. I'm so sorry. I keep kind of startling her. As you can see that my breath and all the talking that I'm doing, she's definitely paying attention to that, isn't she? Let's see if we have any questions on Instagram. I keep ignoring you guys. I don't mean to. You're just really far away. Make sure that she's still on the screen. Let's see. Any questions? Everybody's watching. That's exciting. Y'all were excited for the chameleon earlier. Someone's asking about chameleon care. I can address that a little bit. So chameleons are, that was the last animal that we had on here in case y'all missed our panther chameleon, Freddie Mercury. Chameleons are a little bit specialized when it comes to caring for them. But in my opinion, when you set them up correctly, and depending on the species, of course, and individual too, and it depends on your environment as well. Say if you live in Florida, you can probably keep them outside pretty easily. Did you see that? I just got sprayed. That's one of their defense mechanisms. That was amazing. It happened like right on camera. So one of their defenses, if they feel a little bit nervous, which I guess she's feeling nervous, I don't know. She's usually really good, is to poop. And she might have just needed to poop. I don't know if y'all saw that on Instagram. She just pooped on me. Part of the job. Anyway, what were we talking about? Chameleon care. So if you set them up correctly, and I'm more than happy to go over that with you as well in more detail, they need a screen cage that's appropriately sized for them. They need to be misted at least 2 to 3 times a day. They need some kind of dripper or a way to drink water that moves. Some people use a waterfall. I don't really like the waterfall. It's way too much maintenance. You can use a dripper. You can just mist them extra. You can make sure and shower them. That's another way to get them the water that they need. But they drink out of off of the leaves and dripping water instead of out of a bowl. So that's not good for them. They need, of course, the proper diet with all the supplementation and calcium powder and all the things that you need. But as long as you set them up with the right lighting, which is UV lighting and heat lighting, depending on your species. So some species need more heat than others. So it's really important to do your research. Again, I'm more than happy to go over that with you. They tend, though, to be a little bit more sensitive when it comes to being handled. And every chameleon is an individual. Freddie Mercury isn't the most excited to be handled. So he does have a little bit of an attitude, and I don't handle him a lot. He only goes on very sparse programs, and like virtual programs are a lot less stressful because it's really fast, and then he gets to go right back home. But traveling a lot is stressful for him. But I have another chameleon. His name is Michael. He's a Jackson's chameleon. And he's really good for programs. He doesn't seem to mind that much at all. I don't overdo it with him either. And if he's showing stress, I'll definitely give him a break and whatnot. We always listen to our animals. That goes for any animal though, right? But that's really the biggest concern with like program chameleons, if that makes sense. But as far as their care, it's really not, to me, it's not hard because I've been caring for reptiles for a long time. It's kind of second nature to me. But I could see why somebody might think that it's a little bit specialized, a little bit difficult if you don't know. So I'm more than happy to help you if you need help. Please feel free to message me or text me anytime. Okay? But most animals, if you set them up appropriately, they do a lot better and it's a lot easier. Cool, huh? All right. That covers all my questions. Poop is part of any job. That is so true. Everybody poops, don't they? I can't believe she did that right in front of you guys. That was really funny. I once got pooped on by a chicken snake. This is somebody talking, not me. This is Richard saying, I once got pooped on by a chicken snake. It was rather gross. Yeah, snakes don't poop very often. Neither do tarantulas. But when they do, it's kind of gross. It's like all that pent up feces that they haven't expelled in a while. Goodness gracious. Mary's daughter Sevi says, my mom once got pooped on by a penguin. I bet you whatever, Sevi, that it wasn't just once. We who work with penguins, me, myself included, I work with penguins, we get pooped on all of the time. And birds in general poop a lot, don't they? Tarantulas really don't poop a lot. And neither do lizards and neither do snakes. But when they do, I guess they gotta go, they gotta go. What are you gonna do? Ha ha ha. Well, Tiptoes, you've been an entertaining individual. Indeed, haven't you? Ha ha ha. I love her so much. I think she is so pretty. These guys are, like I said, one of my favorite species of tarantula, which is saying a lot because I do love tarantulas. See if we can get her in focus a little bit better. Oh my gosh, look at her. Now I'm like worried about the back end. Haha. You know, it's just part of the job. It wasn't even that much poop at all, which just surprised me. That was funny. I'll take one. I'll do that part of the job for you guys. It's all virtual, right? You don't have to experience any food from where you're sitting. Oh, that's funny. Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and let her go back home. And we'll meet our final animal, especially for those of you on Instagram, because Instagram only lets me be on for an hour. So speaking of animals that poop a lot, let's meet one of those, shall we? All right. Oh. Tiptoes wants to stay with me and not go back home. Well, sometimes animals do what they want. Isn't that true? Okay, now she's going back home. It's been a day. You guys have been so patient and wonderful. Thank you so much as always. So speaking of animals that poop a lot, we're talking about penguins. What category does a penguin belong to? Oh, Amanda says Tiptoes did great. Let me make sure I don't have any other questions on Instagram. I love all of y'all's questions. It's so much fun to answer questions. And again, if you guys have any questions about any animals, try to ask me because I've worked with many of them. Not just the animals that you see here at once in a while. So maybe we'll cover that next time. We'll talk about some of my other animals that I've worked with in the past. That ought to be fun. And we'll go over some question and answer time, just like always. Okay, speaking of animals that poop a lot, like I said, you guys know that birds poop a lot, right? And this is not a penguin. Hey, it's Pikachu. Y'all know Pikachu, right? If you don't know Pikachu, this is Pikachu. She is a cockatiel, and her coloration is not the normal color of a cockatiel. So if you're confused and wondering, wait, that doesn't look like a cockatiel that I've seen before, she's a special color. It's called a lutino, and kind of like Latino, but with an U instead of an A. And a lutino is a yellow with orange cheeks. So she's almost completely yellow. She does have a reddish tinge to her eyes. So this is the closest to an albino that you'll see a cockatiel get. Cockatiels don't really have a official albino coloration to my knowledge. That's what I was told. But lutino is very, very close. She is so cute. Let's put her in focus. I love this new camera, but what I don't love about it is, number one, it shuts off sometime. And number two, I have to focus it manually, but I'm sure she looks really pretty. Pika. So Pikachu is named after the famous Pokemon, right? You can tell why we call her that. She has those beautiful orange cheeks and yellow coloration all over her body. She doesn't have the black tips on the ears, but she does have a crest which sticks up, which kind of reminds us of Pikachu's ears. Speaking of crests, it's going up right now, isn't it? Why don't you move to this hand? Move to this hand. She is trained. And move to this hand. Take your time, by all means. Show depends on you. Come on. Good girl. I wanted to switch hands so I have my food on my right hand here. She's looking around at everything new. Pikachu is very, very good at programs. Whoa. Let's get her in focus. Let's get her in focus. There's food flying everywhere. I don't know if you guys can see that. Uh-oh. Well, I give up. We're trying. So Pikachu, of course, is a bird, and she's a flying bird, not like a penguin. Penguins can't fly, but most birds can fly, right? And birds need very special adaptations to fly. Number one is going to be her feathers. Now, not only do feathers give them the ability to fly when they flap their wings, they also make them very, very lightweight. So feathers are much lighter than hair, aren't they? If you guys didn't know, feathers are lighter than hair, which comes in very handy if you need to be lightweight, because most birds that need to fly are very, very light. So even the largest flying bird in the world, which is the Cory bustard, it's a very large bird in Africa. And those birds are, I want to say 3 to 4 foot high when they stand up straight. The males are. Males are a lot bigger than females. But the male Cory bustard is huge for a flying bird, and he weighs 40 pounds. So that is the very, very, very largest and heaviest flying bird in the world. Pikachu is not anywhere near 40 pounds. She doesn't even weigh 1 pound. She's very, very light. She's around, I'd say 100 grams. Super light, super tiny. But those feathers are part of what keeps her very, very lightweight. Feathers are lighter than hair. If you have the same amount of feathers in one pile and you have the same amount of hair in another pile, the hair will always outweigh the feathers no matter what. Hair is very, very dense and heavy compared to feathers. And she also has semi-hollow bones. Her bones are not totally hollow. They are semi-hollow. So think of a straw, but with a structure inside, like a honeycomb. So the straw is hollow, right? When you look down the end of a straw, you can see right through it. So it's not like that, but it's like a straw with a structure inside of it, kind of like a honeycomb or a sponge on the inside. And that's going to make them very, very strong, but also lightweight to keep them nice and light. Also, birds have less internal organs than us mammals have. The birds that fly, anyway. There are other birds that don't fly, like penguins and ostrich, for example. But birds that fly, traditional birds, they're going to have less internal organs. They don't have an appendix, for example. We do, and we don't know what it's for. They don't have anything they don't need. They don't even have a bladder. So when they gotta go, they gotta go. That's why birds poop and pee so much. Believe it or not, birds poop and pee from the same exact tract. And they also, if they are female, lay eggs from the same tract too. So all of that kind of simplifies their digestion, simplifies their systems, makes it very, very simple. It's all kind of efficient. In fact, a bird will actually use the restroom most of the time before they fly. If they have to go, they will try to be as light as possible because it's less energy to fly when they do that, right? She says yes. Amanda's asking, does she talk? Does Pikachu talk? I'm assuming you're asking about the bird and not about me or the spider. Just kidding. No, Pikachu does not talk because she's a girl. Not to say that no female cockatiel can talk in the world. I believe there are a few that probably can, but Pikachu is a female. So the female cockatiels are far less inclined to mimic or talk or do a whole lot of noises at all. She will call me like with her, what they call a flock call. It's kind of like a whistle. If she doesn't see me, I'm in the other room or something like that, and she's wondering where I am, she'll use that vocalization. And I guess to her, that's talking in her language. But in the traditional like human talking, no, she doesn't mimic really much of anything. She tries, but she can't very well. And that just might be her. But her partner, Eevee, who is a male, Eevee is actually the male. Eevee does mimic quite a bit, and he is learning more and more every day. Now, he doesn't talk as well as like some other type of parrots, like African greys or Amazons or even like a macaw. He doesn't talk that well like them, but he does say certain things. Like Eevee will say, come here. He will say perch. He will say Pikachu. He will say all kinds of stuff. And he does a lot of mimics. He mimics the cell phone noises that I have, like the Twitter noise. Y'all know the he does that a lot. Does that sound like Eevee? Yeah, he does that a lot. And I always think it's my phone every time he does it. And he does all kinds of different beeps and noises and of course, all the cockatiel sounds, which are natural whistles that they do and other noises that they make, like screeches and things. Cockatiels are not they're not the largest, but they're also not the loudest type of parrot. They are in the parrot family, but they're not super loud. Thank goodness for me in my household. But they do whistle and screech and things on occasion. So they're still noisy. What other questions do we have? Oh, thank you. I love that you give her some free will. Yeah, she's trained with positive reinforcement. So a bird, especially, and really all animals, they work better with kind of giving them the option. I mean, reptiles are a little bit different. Like we do pick them up and we have them on programs. Like you saw Freddie Mercury coming out here. But when he showed me that he's just had enough, we're done. You know, we will go ahead and let him rest and whatnot. But birds do really well with free choice. So we basically find out, well, first of all, we have a good relationship with them. We want to have a nice, positive, not scary, positive relationship with them. And then we find out what they like the most. So as you can see, Pikachu really likes her food. And so that helps a lot because when an animal is food motivated, that makes them a lot easier to train. And it's more of like a partnership as opposed to forcing her to do anything. So we want her to have a good time. Birds are very smart. They're also very sensitive. They're prey animals. Even a predatory bird is sometimes prey. So birds tend to be a little nervous sometimes, unless you show them that everything's okay. Thank you for the compliment. Ricardo asked, do they eat insects? So this type of parrot does not eat insects. Not to say that she couldn't eat a bug on occasion, but they're not going to seek out bugs to eat. These guys are seed eaters and nut eaters, and they also eat other vegetation. So here in our care, she's going to eat things like the pellet diet that you see here. That's going to be the majority of her diet, and as you can see, she really likes it. It's her favorite part of her diet. They also get vegetables, varied vegetables. And they can eat fruits, but we don't really offer them fruit here because it's very high in sugar and it can make them obese and it can make them sick. So we don't really feed them sugar. We don't really need to. They don't need it in their diet. It's just something that some people choose to feed them. It's not a bad thing if you do it in moderation, but we choose not to. And we feed vegetables, the pellets, and a little bit of seed as well to balance out her diet. But she gets just a little bit of seed too. And that's mostly a treat as well. Okay. Good question. But these guys as a species, are not an insect eater. No. Good question. Now, again, this is not the coloration that they would be in the wild. Make sure she's on focus. You guys see her? This would not be the coloration that she is in the wild. Oh, Pika, you're so cute. And she's so light colored too. It's hard to see her on the camera. There we go. This is not the coloration that she would be in the wild. She's very light yellow. And let me turn the light down just a little bit. It might be a little bit better. She's very light yellow, almost white sometimes in certain light. And she has orange cheeks. But out there in the wild, they would be mostly gray with a yellow or orange face and orange cheeks. And the males are actually a little bit more brightly colored than the females in the wild. So they are dimorphic. For those of you on Instagram, we're getting ready to close. We are getting ready to end here in a few minutes. So if it cuts me off, I do apologize. Once again, this is Amanda with Once in a While for everybody watching, not just on Instagram, for everybody. These live streams are brought to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. They are, of course, free of charge, like all live streams are. If you guys watch them, we're very, very grateful. But we are accepting, of course, tips via Venmo. Our information is down below on Facebook and YouTube, and I believe. And also, onceonawhile.com. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. You can find the button that says Donate to Our Cause. And that's where you can find our Amazon wish list, which is another way to donate items to our animals. But I just want to cover that before we get cut off on Instagram. For Facebook and YouTube, we're still going to be around for a little bit longer. Who has questions about Pikachu? Amanda's asking another very good question. Do Pikachu and Eevee cohabitate? Yes. So Pikachu and Eevee are partners, and they're still very young, but we intend for them to be like a male and female partnership. And they do live together and get along just fine. Although Eevee seems to be more in love with his own reflection right now than he is with Pikachu, but that should change once they mature fully. So a cockatiel is not really considered fully mature until they're 2 or 3 years old. So Pika and Eevee are both around 1 year old right now. So hopefully next year they'll start kind of bonding a little bit more. So they're still babies. They're considered to be like teenagers right now. So not a teenager in the sense that they would be excited about that sort of thing yet. That's not what I mean, but they're not like babies, but they're kind of in between baby and adult, if that makes sense. But yes, they do live together and they are friends, at least at this point. But Pikachu and Eevee were both raised by humans and therefore are used to humans and human companionship. That's something very, very important to think about if you're ever wanting a bird companion. Most of them need to be hand raised in order to be comfortable with humans. Not to say that you couldn't like maybe teach a parent-raised bird, by parent raised, I mean raised by their parents, the birds, to be tamed too. But it's a lot easier and a lot less stress on the bird and you if you have a hand-raised animal. And that is usually, not every single case is the same, of course, right? Something to think about. You can see that beautiful crust of feathers on top of her head, right? Let's focus. I wonder what our issue is today. I wonder if she looks in focus to you guys. There we go. One really cool thing about cockatoos and cockatiels, this is a cockatiel. They have that beautiful crest of feathers on top of their head, which can show us their mood. They can raise and lower the crest of feathers at will to show their mood. So her crest is raised right now, but not raised all the way, which tells us that she's alert, but not upset or anything like that. Sometimes they'll raise their crest really, really high, almost extended to the other side of their face, kind of like overextended like this. And that will tell you that they're like super duper paying attention to something or might be alert to something or a little bit nervous. Pikachu is a very, very good bird. All right. Any other questions about her? What if we switch hands again? Pika, you come to this hand? She's like, I don't know. I'm getting kind of full. What if you wanted to fly back to me? Would you like that? Everybody would like to see you fly again. Sorry, guys. Pika. You know, it's her choice. Like I said before, it's her choice whether or not she wants to fly or not. Flying is actually a lot of work for birds. It can take a lot of energy, although she's just making a short flight in this case. But yeah. Pika, you wanna come back? Put her on top of her carrying cage, and now she's comfortable up there. Maybe I should have done that. Come here. Pika, did I feed you too much? You want to just step up? Come here. That a girl. She'll just step up. She's very lazy today. She's kind of my lazy bird. She still gets treats for coming and stepping up. Now, birds are wonderful animals. There's so many different kinds of birds, and birds are one of my favorite categories of animals that I've worked with. They're a lot of fun to train, and they're a lot of fun to watch and get to know. Each and every bird species is different, and each and every bird individual is different. Like I said, we have 2 cockatiels, and they're totally different in every single way. Like, so different. If you hung out with me over here and got to know them, you'd be like, wow, they're so different. Pikachu is very laid back. She's very lazy. As you can see, she doesn't even want to fly 2 feet to see me, but she will when she wants to. Like, she's just not feeling it right now, I guess. Eevee is all over the place. He is a lot more, he's got more of a cautious personality. He's a little bit more nervous in new situations, which is why I don't use him nearly as often as Pikachu in programs. Pikachu is super comfortable almost in every single place I've taken her. She's super special. She's very comfortable with other people. She's much quieter than Eevee as well. I think Eevee's love language is more like words of affirmation, talking, getting lots of praise, but he doesn't really like touchy-feeliness. Pikachu loves to be with you, and eating food, I think, is kind of her like favorite thing ever, and just kind of going here and there and seeing new things. But she's also not super lovey-dovey either when it comes to being touched. A lot of people ask me if they like to be scratched and touched. Our birds really don't, and that's just fine. They don't have to be touched. We can, you know, respect their boundaries, right? Everybody has their own love language. Would you consider them food motivated? Yes. So most birds in general are very food motivated if they are not overfed. So most birds that work in programs or on bird shows or in zoos that they use animals for education and things like that, you've seen those birds, or birds that are trained, even if they're trained in someone's home, they are what we call weight managed. So we weigh them, we make sure that they're at a healthy weight and that they are motivated to eat and they're not overfed. Does that make sense? So if they have motivation to eat and they're not full, they're probably going to want to participate in things. Not to say that we're starving them or anything like that. They still get their full meal every time. But most birds in the care of humans are overfed. So therefore, they're not super motivated to work unless they have other ways being reinforced. Say an animal doesn't work well for food, but they really like attention. Maybe that bird would still work just fine for, you know, maybe some scratches or maybe some just words of affirmation and saying good bird, good bird. I mean, maybe that's attention, you know, things like that. But yeah, these guys in general are very, very food motivated. So they're very, very trainable and very smart. Good question. He's food motivated too. Very, very good. Me too. I am very food motivated. You can ask anyone that knows me very well. I love food. So I very much relate. Wow. I think Pikachu has been wonderful, even though she was a little lazy earlier. That's okay. We're not going to get after her for that, right? She has her free choice to do whatever she wants. I'm just happy that she's hanging out with me today, as always. She's one of my favorites. I feel like I say that about a lot of my animals, but my animals are, they're all my favorite, right? It's like choosing your children. It's really, really hard. But Pikachu is very special to me. She is a really kind of rare personality bird. Like I said, she's very, very chill. She's very laid back about new situations, which is not a very common bird trait. If you know much about birds, you've worked with birds before. She is absolutely wonderful. I'm going to actually go ahead and put her on my shoulder for a minute, so I can get to you guys' questions and things. So she's happy to be on my shoulder. She's happy to be in the hand. She's happy to do anything, honestly. Like I said, she's a little bit of a lazy girl, but that's not a big deal. I'd rather her be lazy than not wanting to hang out with me, right? Good girl. Why am I not in focus again? Guys, there we go. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, you've been a wonderful audience as always. And again, I'm always accepting suggestions on what you guys would want to see in one of our live streams. Live streaming is very new to us. We've just been doing it for about a month, not even. And we've been doing it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30 Central Time. We accept tips via Venmo, as always, at Once in a While. That's how you find us on Venmo. We accept donations via Amazon wishlist as well. I think Pikachu's going to play with my earring if I let her, or my hair, maybe. And you guys can find all of our information at onceinawild.com. We're offering Zoom room animal encounters. You guys can find out more about how you can book your very own Zoom room. Emphasis on the word Zoom room. You guys can customize your animal encounter to your liking. They start at 30 minutes and go all the way up to 2 hours or however long you want to book us. We go in 30-minute increments, and we can let you know how you can book one of those, what they cost, all of that. If you guys want to call or text me, my number is down below. And if you want to go to onceinawild.com, you can figure out how to call or get a hold of me in that way as well. Now, we're thinking about next time maybe going over some other animals that I don't have, but that maybe I've worked with in the past. Would that be fun? Would you guys like to learn about some other animals that aren't necessarily here at Once in a While, but that I have experience with? You guys can ask me any kind of questions that you have about your favorite animal. Even right now, you guys can actually ask me any questions that you like, or let me know what your favorite animals are. Maybe I can tell you a little bit about them, etc. Or let me know which animals you want to see on the program. But I'd be more than happy to talk about really any of the zoo animals that I've worked with before, or domestic animals too. I work with all kinds of animals. You guys are fantastic as always. I sure hope so. I sure hope she adores me. I can't ask her, but I sure hope so. I mean, we have a pretty good relationship. I love you too. Flamingos, that would be a great one to talk about. Flamingos are one of my favorite birds ever. Flamingos are very, very special birds. They are very hot weather and cold weather tolerant. Flamingos are one of the few species, well, there's different species of them, but one of the few type of birds that can tolerate very cold and very hot. There's a species of flamingo up in the mountains of South America, I believe. I can't remember exactly where. It's putting me on the spot, but they can actually live in water that freezes overnight, and their legs will freeze in the water, and it gets so cold. Oh, there she goes, playing with my earring. So cute. She's like, what is this bird toy doing on your ear? Let me help you with this. Yes. But they can actually stand in freezing water until it freezes over and their legs freeze. They go to sleep, and they'll wake up and the sun will melt the ice, and then they'll be able to get out of the water. These are flamingos, right? And then it gets even hotter during the day, and by midday it gets like over 100 degrees. So they go from below freezing to 100-degree weather, and it's the same species in South America where these guys live. You guys can, I forget what the species is. I'll think of it in a little bit. Probably after the broadcast. And they're amazing. They're amazing weather tolerant birds. They're amazing birds that haven't changed over millions of years. And flamingos are very special. They're quite goofy. They're silly personalities, but they've been unchanged for a long, long time. So how can you argue with that? They've survived this long. They have very, very long necks with lots and lots of neck bones, as you may know, and very long legs. And they are pink, which it's really hard to think of very many pink animals other than sea creatures and flamingos, isn't it? But yeah, flamingos are amazing and one of my very favorite birds to work with. I didn't think that I would like working with them, to be honest with you, because they are kind of goofy and I never really knew how cool they were until working with them. And then you get to know their personalities, and they're absolutely wonderful and sweet little birds. I think Pikachu's falling asleep. Falling asleep? Well, on that note, I guess we'll say goodbye. But yeah, I would love to kind of gather some photos and old videos maybe of me working with some animals that I worked with in the past. Maybe we'll talk about animal training. Maybe we'll talk about different species that I've worked with at different places. How about that? Well, that would be fun. You guys might enjoy that. Not that you don't enjoy our animals. We'll bring some live animals too, to maybe just have company while we're talking about the other things. How about that? You guys have been fantastic as always. I'm going to go ahead and close with our song like I always do. 1, 2, ready, go. Bye, guys. You're welcome. You're welcome. Woo! Okay, guys, we'll see you next time on Wednesday at 3:30 Central Time. Have a great day. Bye.